Hi, friends. Welcome to Real Talk with Real Moms. I'm Darcy.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Alma. And as always, we're unscripted, unrehearsed, the good, the bad, the ugly, open books.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, episode 4.
Today we get a little ugly.
Yeah, today is, I'm excited about this episode. So the first 3 episodes, you got to know us, how we met, our lifestyle. What we're going to talk about today is social media. And, you see what we show you on our TikToks, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. You see us through a screen. What you don't see, and what a lot of you probably have experienced yourself, is the judgment and shame and sometimes just downright hate that that you can receive because you put yourself out there on social media. And we're talking about this, and we got the idea for this video just a few days ago because we've each dealt with it at a different level. So we each have a different experience with it. And I believe people are able to shame and judge because we let them, because it's something that we don't talk about enough. So I think we should all kind of share a little bit of our stories. And Alma, yours was kind of the most recent that we were talking about. So talk to us about what happened.
So if you see my social media, it is mostly like I call it annoyingly positive, because I feel like I get told this all the time that like my positivity is sometimes overwhelming, but I feel like if you look at the greener side, your day will always be better than just like focusing on like victimizing yourself and being upset about things all the time. Because there's always a good to everything bad. So a lot of my social media has to do with like 1, women empowerment, 2, really positive, and 3, really bettering yourself in personal development. So I recently posted a TikTok with an audio that's not mine. You guys can go on. I'm trying to remember the creator's name. Anyways, about having a bad mom day, like having a day, which is not just one, it's constant, having a day where you don't feel like you are the best mom that you can be because of everything that's happening right now, because of pandemic, because of distance learning, trying to balance lives, like how we were talking about in our previous episode.
Which we can all relate to. If you are a mom, we all relate to that. If you are a mom, we watched your video and we all related to it. All moms.
And I feel like even outside of this pandemic, like mom guilt is very real.
Yes.
It's very real. And it's a thing that we all need to understand that it's normal to have. It's not normal to have, but it's something that we have as mothers. But it's something
you're right. It is normal to have. Having mom guilt is very normal.
As mothers, we don't take care of ourselves the way that we should because we are taking care of everybody else.
That's right.
And we feel very selfish when we spend time on ourselves. So, and so in this video, I was almost in tears. I didn't let them run down. I struggled really hard. No, I'm a very ugly crier. So that is why I didn't cry. I'm terrible.
Me too.
Crier. So, but the audio really spoke to me about, feeling like I'm not doing the best job that I possibly can because I have all these things on my plate because of the pandemic and having my kids home, trying to make sure that I'm doing everything great. And then just like sucking up the crappy feelings that I have. And in the end, she ends up with like, you are a great mom. You're trying your best. You're doing, and it's just something I needed to hear that day. So I did an audio with just my reaction to the video, and I received on my comments an incredible amount of support. But on the back end, in my DMs, I received a lot of hate because apparently I am normally a happy, peppy person, and people didn't understand that I could have a bad day.
Like, how dare you?
It was basically
how dare you be
how
human?
dare you? After you're talking about all these things, and I do complain about my kids and stuff, like in a joking way on social media and about being a parent and the struggles, but I make it funny. But the struggles are real.
Very real. Yeah.
And so I received a lot of hate, and unfortunately, a lot of it came from men. And how I am putting myself out there as a perfect person, which I don't believe that I do, and preaching perfect, that I'm a perfect woman and I'm always happy and I just do as I'm told. And it's like these like comments
I
that
don't feel like you ever portray yourself as that person at all. I mean, in fact, you're always talking about how you have a third child and your husband, and that it's not the fact that you're ever told do this and you do it.
But that's what people see. Well, that's what they see. And then I'll talk about the backlash from women right now, but the men's side, they really saw me as like Susie homemaker. I don't know. And I don't know how, because I feel like I don't portray myself that way.
People see what they want to see.
For crying, for the fact that I cried on my video, and basically they called me weak. And so I'm not going to give them the light of day. It was basically like, oh, fuck you. Right. Like, I'm just like, I don't know you personally. Two, I don't let any of those comments affect my life, but it was very surprising that the one video that I showed about having a weak moment in my life.
And of course you're being real and sharing that with people, and you're going to get hate for that. Like, it's so easy to be fake on social media. So when someone is real, why would we shame them for that? We should celebrate them for that. And so it just blows my mind.
All I could think of was like, okay, if you're bashing on my bad day, like what kind of day are you having? It's obviously worse than mine.
100%. I always say that whenever somebody like spreads hate to you, it's because they hate themselves more than they're ever going to hate anybody else. And so they're dealing with that by bringing it out and putting it on us, basically.
Listen, but there's also a fine line between like, I understand the whole like give grace. If someone's hateful to you or makes mean comments, bless and release. Like obviously they're going through stuff like, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. Like I'll pray for you. I'm for that. I understand that. But at the same time, I feel like that also gives them a pass. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like
I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, like these people, I don't know these people. And like, yes, if it's somebody that I interact with daily and then they're acting like that to me, that's one thing. But like,
no, these are just random.
But that's what I mean. These people who pop in with their random comments, like I'm not giving them a pass. I'm understanding that it's not me. It's them. Like they hate themselves. They don't hate me. They're so assholes. They don't know me. They're putting that comment on my stuff because they're working through something in their own head.
So like, let's just say, if you and I had this comment where you're like, dude, like you look like shit or whatever the case may be, like I can talk to you about it. I can be like, look, are you having a bad day?
Nice.
I can pass that with you. I don't know them, nor do I care.
No. I don't think like
I find it amazing. I think the amazing part was that they have the balls.
Yes.
To judge somebody for having a bad day.
Like they don't have the balls. It's an account that has nothing on it. There's no picture. There's no content. They don't have the balls. They have no courage at all. Actually, it's like they're basically hiding their identity, going on making you feel bad because they feel bad. Like they're relating to it and understanding that they're guilty, but because they have no identity on this app, they're saying what they want to say.
Well, and the funny thing is that little do they know, like it is really hard to insult me. Like it is really hard to insult me.
Yeah.
I comments like that go in one ear and out the other. I've gone through way too much like crap in my life to worry about what they think. But and then especially, and this is no offense to the men that are watching this, but when it comes from a man who doesn't understand the perspective that I'm coming from, your opinion doesn't matter to me.
Right, exactly.
It's the women that I received comments of who had profile pictures, who obviously follow me or I came up on their FYP or whatever the case may be. Those silent followers that are there just to like nitpick, and not that their comments bothered me, but the fact that I received comments like, well, you're wearing makeup today, so obviously you're not having that bad of a day. Like this audio is fake. And I'm like, well, I happened to get ready that morning, but like,
what does that have to do with anything?
No, it doesn't. That's a problem. I wish I would have like screenshot these to like read them out, or that I'm normally such a happy person. So therefore my happy posts are fake because I'm vulnerable at this state in my video. And that makes me an extremely fake person, that they can't believe that they've been following me since I joined and I was uplifting. And today was a day that they're unfollowing me because I let them down.
Wow.
Wow.
And so those were rude comments coming from women. That really, it irked me a little bit,
yeah.
simply because
Yeah.
I promote so much women support and female support and women empowerment, that having a bad day doesn't make you who you are.
It makes you human. It makes you real.
Makes you human. 100%.
And being,
You know,
and
and
being
I'm the
able to
opposite.
admit that you're having a bad day makes you like amazing. Like the fact that you have that vulnerability, like that puts you higher. Like in my opinion, like
Me too.
I have
higher.
a lot of bad days. I just feel that like constantly posting the bad days makes my, like, the energy on my page go like,
And that's just not who you are. But I'm with you, Lindsay. When I see someone post a vulnerable video like that, where I can see that they're human and that we can connect on that level, that they have bad days, that they're not superwoman all the time wearing their cape, and which I feel like women, we always are super women. But when I see that they're, I love that. I love that. I feel more connected to them, and I have a lot of respect for them. So it is 2021. I cannot wrap my head around another woman coming to someone's page and saying something that's disgusting. Like, I just don't understand it.
And in the end, we go back to that, like how they're feeling about themselves. If they feel insecure about how they feel and having bad days, like if maybe right now they're suffering with like some form of depression where they're sad every day, and my page was uplifting them, and then that video kind of brought them down. Like in the end, they didn't relate to the video; they hated it. So like there was no relation to what they're going through in their life to the video, or there was, and it pissed them off. Like it's like when you wake up annoyed and everything somebody does is annoying. Like if you already wake up in a bad mood and your kids come up and you're like, what do you want? Like it irks them.
Feel it. They feel they feel you. Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel your energy.
They're just feeling yucky already. So, but I found it really impressive when comments come across from men. They just whatever. But when they come across from women,
it just hits differently.
It hits a little bit differently, especially the fact that we all support women empowerment and doing things for yourselves and being strong and, holding women on a pedestal up here because we can do everything that men can do and more. So like it was pretty incredible. But the backlash.
I like the point that you made earlier, that your comments were positive for the most part. That your messages, which is a great point. That's what we're talking about is, if you're watching our videos, if you're watching this now, you can go to the comments and you can see the positive. And so you don't think anything of it, or you're leaving positive comments on our stuff. So, but this is what we're trying to let you see, is that there's always a different side. So things if you go to Alma's video, you might think it's awesome, and you look at the comments and you're like, yes, people are supporting her. They're there for her. But that's not always the case. She's on the back end, stuff's happening. And so that's hard.
It is.
That sucks.
It was pretty. I think it was impressive, like the amount of people. And yes, like Lindsay, you say the men that come around our women pages don't have profile pictures. They create fake accounts just to like bash, and they have like, 0 followers, and they're following 5,000 people because those are the accounts that they're attacking. But don't.
I mean, I get a lot of hate from men as well on my page, because I do a lot of husband content, and even I had friends who, like, I started posting my content to Instagram, and it's all funny. It's all fun and games. Like, yes, my husband does not have an Instagram, does not have a TikTok, but I do save and text the videos to him before I post them, everything except for my LDC.
It's not a secret.
But
yeah.
But he laughs at him. He jokes with me. It's funny to him. When I started posting it on Instagram, I soon found out that there was like a topic of conversation within my friend group where people were saying, I'd be offended if my wife were doing this to me like they said, in public. Like, because we know that I have the series, my husband does this fun thing where, and basically they were saying that like I'm offending my husband by publicly posting these funny things that are really kind of annoying. And I didn't expect for my friends who know me to perceive me that way, or to have that sort of like judgment or understanding that I'm offending my husband, rather than what we always say, it's a 15-second clip on the internet.
Mhm.
Like, you shouldn't be judging me. You should know me better, personally, because you're my friend. And then second of all, know better that it's a 15-second clip on the internet. Like, let's not judge anybody by 15 seconds of what they say, because I could take a lot of your
And that is a good point.
general 15 seconds out of context, and I could judge a lot of that too. So like,
you could take 15 seconds
and your stuff is funny and relatable.
Judge me.
Right. Yeah. And I think, it goes again, like whoever it was that was saying that they'd be offended by it, I think what they're saying is, I actually relate to this. This happens in my house. My wife gets offended that I don't do this. And now I'm feeling personally judged by it. Mm-hmm. And so their best outlet, or their best way to justify that it's not funny and it's insane and why do women get mad about it, is to then attack and say, well, if I was her husband, I would be so offended that she's embarrassing him like that. And unfortunately, that even happens. Like, this is the kind, like, yes, I get, internet hate like Alma. And, but this is the one that I personally dealt with that like really kind of brought me down a notch, because I'm like, these are my friends. Like, they should be supporting me. They should know me better. They should know that like my husband and I have a healthy relationship. It's a joke. My husband's not offended, so you shouldn't be offended. But it's still at some point or another, like it felt like words had to be said by that person.
But you just said your husband and you have a healthy relationship. So I make a lot of jokes about my husband as well, which is starting more on social media because he's been popping into my lives, and my husband is a 12-year-old child, and he will fully admit that he is like not an adult. And so a lot of people do say that, but you have a healthy relationship with your husband where you can do that and he is not offended. Therefore, that also reflects on maybe the relationship of the man who is attacking you on the other end. Maybe they don't have.
Well, right. That's what I mean. I think that, like, I don't think he was defending my husband. I think he might have subconsciously been defending himself.
No, that's what I'm saying, because he felt personally attacked, that you sounded annoying. That
Darcy, I can't hear you.
He does, that he probably gets bitched out at home about. And if that would have happened in public to him, he would have been offended, because it offends him that his wife does that. Your husband is not offended. So, and it probably also irks him that your husband is not offended.
Goodness, people just need to worry about themselves. Like, my gosh.
I say it all the time, my husband cannot make it into the hamper. Like, he puts his clothes next to the hamper. Why? I have no unearthly idea. He is never offended when I talk about it in public, because it's a joke now.
Right. That was one of my husband does this fun thing and I can't, people were like, the most relatable ones are the ones that blow up, and the ones that people also like spread the most hate on. Like, there was one that, like, I said, you guys, and this is actually like, Darcy, you can tell me how you relate to this, because this, I couldn't even believe it came across my screen. There was one of my husband does this really fun thing where he doesn't listen to me the first 5 times that I say something. And then when I like blow up, he looks at me and he's like, why are you getting so mad? There was a therapist who stated, she was a therapist. She said, as a therapist, if you feel the need to be saying these things online, then maybe like you like aren't in the right relationship. Like, if you feel like that you need to have this outlet where you're complaining about your husband all the time, then maybe you're not in the right relationship. And she specifically said, as a therapist, like, I wanted to be like, and I think I did respond to her. I said, first of all, it's a 15-second clip on the internet. It's meant to be a joke. Third of all, if you really felt like you wanted to give me advice, maybe seek like personally message me and giving me that advice, rather than telling me on a public forum in my comments. Like, I felt like that was really meant to like make me feel bad about something, not to help me out.
Absolutely. Shame and judgment. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sure, like, I mean, you're a therapist. I don't feel like you would ever pop into someone's comment
I mean, first of all, not a therapist yet. I am still in school. Yeah.
You're basic. I mean,
you're a therapist in training.
I'm working towards it. Yes. Yeah, that's wild to me.
That's rude. I mean,
I have a
God,
lot,
it didn't feel very therapeutic. It didn't feel very like
nice.
advice. It wasn't advice. I mean, it was really
Nothing.
just like,
Yep.
yeah. It was like, I'm a therapist, but also here's a shitty comment.
Yeah. And what's, yeah, I have a lot I could say. Okay. That's, that's just, and again, it's something so little, but just so inappropriate,
Yeah. And I will say, I've gotten to the point, and this is why, or like to the point earlier where we were saying like people hate themselves more than they ever will hate us. I've gotten to the point where I don't respond with a nasty comment. I literally, like, my go-to is, you're such a kind soul. I hope you have a great day. And literally about 90% of the time, somebody will respond with a, you know what, I'm really sorry. I'm just having a bad day. And I took it out on you. Or like I respond, like they'll say something and I'll respond with like an actual logical explanation for why it happened the way it did. And they're like, you know what? I was narrow-minded. I didn't look at it that way. Now that you explained it, I get it. Thank you. And so people are quick to judge something that they don't understand. A, and B, they're quick to take something out on something they don't know, because it's a lot easier to do that than to do it on the person that you're actually mad at.
Right. It's amazing how many adults not think before they type. Like,
right.
They're not like, okay, let me assess the situation. Like, it's amazing how many adults, like grown-ups, not like when I get like comments from kids, I get like the impulse to comment, right. But like how many adults feel, one, like our keyboard warriors, and two, feel the instinct to just like want to punch you in the face for something that is 15 seconds long.
Right. Well, and something that like and this is just who I am, but I am talking to one of my professors about this. We're counseling clients and they're recorded so we can play them for the class and we could get feedback and stuff. I do not, unless something is just like wildly inappropriate, which has not been the case yet, my feedback is always positive. And my professor's like, do you want to maybe like help with some, and I'm like, no, I do not. Like, if you want to say, because like they play the video and some of the classmates are like, I feel like you said a little too much during that session, or I feel like the gap is too big between you and the client, like it's not as, and I'm like, I just am not comfortable pointing out anything negative on other people because and like I said, unless it's wildly inappropriate.
Well, so like people down on that too,
I'm going to interrupt you there. I feel like there's a difference between negative comments and constructive criticism.
Right. I'm not good at even constructive criticism. Like, I just have no criticism unless someone's like wildly inappropriate and like doing something just black and white, wrong and right. Like,
to Darcy's point, yes, Alma, there's a difference between those two things, but a lot of times there's not a difference with how people receive the
correct
advice, like, constructive. So like people can still be super offended when you're giving them constructive I have a friend who like they want to tell another friend something professionally, but they're afraid to do it because even though it's a professional like a piece of advice, they're still afraid of how that person will receive it because they're just somebody who is constantly offended no matter what the terms are. Absolutely. So it's hard to be a person who wants to genuinely help because
but it makes sense that they're talking about like this is what they're working on. They're working on becoming.
Oh, I know.
If one of my classmates was like, "Man, that is fucked up," during their session, I'd be like, "Oh, shouldn't. That's inappropriate language. I feel like that was not an appropriate reaction."
Yeah, that is.
So that I have no problem being like, "Whoa, that I just feel like that was very inappropriate." Maybe don't hurt, but when someone's saying too much, or if they're, I just don't like, I'm way better at looking at the positive than the negative.
Yes,
just in general. So like, you're right. When someone takes the time to type out something hateful, I'm like, what? Like,
a lot of work.
Wild to me.
Like, also, like they're investing a lot of their own energy into that. So like,
Yeah,
damn,
exactly.
I hardly have time to comment back on my own stuff, let alone like give that much energy to somebody else.
Right, exactly. So that's that was what made me think of that. That's a good point. Like the fact that they want to take the time, because it's not impulsive. I mean, they might type angrily, but you have time to type it out and hit send. Like maybe just think about that. Maybe don't do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They take the time to type it out, but not to like, I guess, process what they're saying or typing.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand.
It's a lot of it's way too much work. Like I have way too much on my plate to try to even do that for somebody.
And it's honestly, I do this thing, you guys, it's really, really weird. It's so weird. But whenever I see a video or something that I don't like or I don't agree with, I know it's weird. I just scroll.
No,
I mean,
that's not weird.
Mind blowing, right? Like when I see something I don't like, I just.
And in the end, it somewhat helps. I usually watch it more than once to figure out like if I really don't like it. And so that helps.
I like that.
Whatever it is, it's like multiple watches, But
I like
it helps the person because I'm like, okay, I'm not processing this. Like,
I mean, I will say that I am the kind of person who like, I don't mind getting hate comments because like Darcy said, we are all in the creator fund and I'll comment back. I will engage and I will let you keep going as far as you want.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Paying my bills. You're just, racking up my change. So that's fine.
Yeah.
So actually like hate comments, like throw them at me. Cause guess what? Like as far as being offended by somebody I don't know on the internet, like I'm far past that. I'm still working on being offended about the people I do know on the internet because that hurts a little bit. Like you are my friends, you are my people, I do know you personally, but sooner or later, like I'm going to get over that too. So like, I don't, I'm working on a better version of me. I'm working on like goals for myself and my family. So like, if your hate comments, like just help me, do that and be there, like, that's cool. I'm cool with you. Yeah. And there are some times where like people will be like, they'll comment like rolls eyes and scrolls. And I was like, well, you were almost there. You almost did that.
You almost
got it. Comment.
That's funny. Well,
oh, that's a good comment though.
Yeah, that is funny. You're like almost.
It's not that great of a comment because you literally did not do that. You did not scroll. Like did not scroll.
Hold on 1 second. Kennedy. Oh.
So, okay. So like, I have another, so how are you perceived, like with people, on social media? I mean, I know we talked about hate comments like on the internet, but like your friends, your family, like what do they have to say and how does that like work for you guys?
You want to start, Darce?
Yeah. So my hate or my judgment or my shame is a little different. What are you doing? No, not right now. I'm almost done. Okay. Give me a second.
Bye for the mom.
Okay. So, I will say like, I have friends who it's kind of passive aggressive, like rather than being like, you know what, it's not my cup of tea. I totally support what you're doing in your hustle. Like, I love that you can fit it into your day. Their biggest like passive aggressive move is to be like, I'm just so busy with work. I don't know how you fit this all in. And I don't think that they understand. Maybe I think sometimes too, that like they're justifying in their own mind that like, oh, Lindsay does a lot, but like, I'm just super busy with work. So like, she's not that busy with work and she, so she can just do this, where that's not the case at all. Like my job is, and you guys know this, like, I'm literally like, guys, I haven't talked to you all day. It's 7 p.m. I'm just logging off of work for the day. Like, I just feel like what's worth it to you, like you fit into your life. But I don't think at the same time when they're saying these things, like obviously like it's not something in their mind that like they want to find professional success on social media outlets or like make money or whatever it is. So like, it's not important to them. So why would they try to find time in their life? But at the same time, like the way you're wording it is like kind of demeaning and a little bit hurtful. Like you could definitely find a different way to say, hey, you know what? I'm proud of you. Like, that's great that you still busy. You're busy. You are a mom, you're a wife, but you're still finding time to do this too.
like, I feel as much as our personal friends and family love us, like, and they want to like be like, go, like, do it. I think their first instinct is to criticize. Like, I feel like a lot of it, and unfortunately, that happens with a lot of family and friends. Their first instinct is to tell you what you're doing wrong because they feel the need to protect. They feel the need to protect you and tell you that this could be risky. So therefore,
I hear what you're saying. I don't think this was a protection thing. I think it was more of a justification on her side of why she can't be doing it. It's more than like, you know what I mean? And that's exactly it. It's not like, why would she prioritize something that like isn't important to her? Right. But if it were important to her, she would find a way to make it work. But the way that she said it to me was just a little off-putting. Like, oh, I just don't know how you, like, I'm just so busy. I don't know how you find time. Basically like downplaying or diminishing like the things I do in my life, like my job and whatever else. So I must have so much more time than her.
Well, you know, and at the very beginning, when people would say like, oh, I just don't have time, or when they make comments like that, it kind of bothered me because, you know, when all of us moms got on TikTok, it wasn't, people were like, you have a TikTok? Like, isn't that for kids? You know, but like now, and I don't, I don't receive a lot of this, but like now, if someone wants in like my personal life to like say something like, ooh, Darcy's on TikTok, like I have been presented with so many opportunities because of TikTok, and I get to do so many cool things. Like, you make fun of me all you want. Like, it's like I am over here living a real good life. So, you know, and again, I feel like a lot of those comments come from like jealousy.
Yeah, like, jealousy and justification.
You know how busy I have been busy doing nothing. Like, I have been busy during this pandemic prior to like, you know, working and getting paid doing TikTok and getting paid by brands and things like that. I was very busy doing absolutely nothing.
Right.
Like, busy is whatever you perceive busy to be.
Right. And that's exactly,
I was busy watching TV, sitting in my bed, eating a bag of chips.
Right. And like, here's the thing too, is like like these people who say these words and say these phrases are on social media probably just as much as I am. I'm just using it more constructively. I'm being more
obvious because of our videos and stuff.
Social media, and I think we can all say that we have changed the way that we use social media. Like, we get on and we post our content. Like, we're not using it for fun as much as we are business anymore. And I think we can all say that, right?
Yeah, it's a job. Like, people clock in 8 hours a day at their full-time job, crunching numbers, teaching, whatever they're doing, and no one blinks an eye. You clock in 8 hours on social media, and all of a sudden you're getting judged.
That you get what you put into it, just like any job. You train.
Well, social media doesn't sleep.
You train your videos. You get new lights. You get new content. You get all these new things, just like you do in a regular job. And you get a salary paid. I mean, out of all of us, Lindsay right now has like a full-time job, but like, you get your salary or whatever because you put in your time and your effort. Or if you're on a commission-based structure, the more you work and the more that you sell, depending on what it is, the more money you make. And
Absolutely.
This is a very similar instance. So if you're a car salesman and you take a month off and you don't sell any cars, your paycheck isn't going to be as good as it is if you were there every day hustling for 8 hours a day. And
And I think the biggest point I'm making is that like the people who are saying, oh, I just don't know how, like, oh, I'm so busy. They're putting, like, if they were to take the time out of their day to calculate how much time that they're putting into social media, it's probably very equivalent to the time I'm putting in. I'm just using mine constructively. I'm using mine efficiently. I'm using mine as a business rather than for leisure.
But a lot of people don't notice how much time they actually spend on social media. Like now with the smartphones and you look at like your social media usage, you know how like it tells you like you spend this much time on Facebook.
I turned mine off.
Mine's off.
It is incredible how many hours somebody who doesn't work on social media spends on social media. We love lives. We love looking at people's babies and their dogs and their vacations and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
like I said, like it's just easier to
see through all these beautiful things on social media. Like
I think it's just easier for these people to justify why, you know, they see me earning a paycheck through social media platforms and they're like, well, you know, I can't do that because I'm too busy. And it's just they're saying those words out loud again to justify there in my action.
Yeah. And and it is hurtful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Darcy, give us a little like background about like your like perceptions versus reality of your social media.
So I do not, thankfully, get a lot of hate from like on comments or messages. My platform is used. It's a funny, fun, positive platform, and I've just gotten really lucky that I don't get hate. So
perceived that way.
Yeah, I just don't get a lot of hate from people on the internet. I don't get even mean messages. I thankfully I don't get a lot of that. But what I've dealt with, which I've been open about a little bit, is I am in school to be a therapist, and there have been people who have went to my school or the board and say that they do not believe that my presence on TikTok is appropriate for someone who's going to be a therapist. And it sucks because of course I know who is saying this. And I will say that like
But you do? I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you like personally knew who it was.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And 99, I will say 99% of my classmates, like some of my classmates bought my merch shirts and wore it like on Zoom, like when they popped up, they had my shirts on.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it was so fun. And my professors that I've talked to, the ones, that I've talked to about it, they are supportive and see nothing wrong with it, but there are a few people who think that it might be an issue. And I have a lot I could say about that. I could say about that. I have a lot of thoughts about that. But overall, I think the word I would use is just like disappointment, because I think it's sad that people can come to our platforms and they try to twist it to fit their agenda or however they want to perceive it. And then when people allow them to do that, I have a problem with that. That sucks whenever, because I am so content and proud of my content. It's funny, it's relatable. Do I have a wine bottle with a straw in it? I do. If you come to
you 21, are you legal? Are you able to drink?
Am I wild in my videos? Like, I'm so wasted. No, my dancing is like this.
Yes. Is that you sober? Like, yeah, I mean, right. These are all like things that like.
Yeah, if you come to my page and you think that I have an alcohol problem because I'm holding wine as a prop, you have a problem. Like, it's about, like, let's just be, like, get real.
Well, you have that video where you pour it out in the sink and you're like, guys, this is water.
It's water, and in most of the videos, I'm not even fake sipping my water. It's one of those things where it's just sad because we're supposed to be in a profession where we don't judge and we don't shame. And I'm getting judged and I'm getting shamed. So
I think truly though, like if we go back to the very beginning, like, yes, you're holding a wine bottle. If you are drinking the wine from that bottle, what is the issue? Because you're legal, you're off a clock, you're taking care of your family and your kids. I mean, your parents, like you're doing all of the things you're supposed to be doing. So if you have a cocktail, what is the issue? And like, why would this have to be brought up by somebody to an entire school board? I couldn't imagine, like, when I was in college, the things that I did, if they had to be brought up in front of a school board, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. And, I do understand that I represent the school and I represent, therapists, and that I'm, again, very content with that.
You're proud of the things you're doing. And I am proud of you too.
You're not sloshed on social media.
You're not doing it inappropriate.
I'm not cursing up a storm. I'm not wearing inappropriate clothes. I'm not bad mouthing people. My platform, if you come, it's very positive. It's very funny. It's very empowering.
There is zero wrong with your platform. There is zero wrong.
Thank you. I agree. Yeah. And so
I just still have I just have like an issue with the main issue is like, yes, you represent those two things, but any person doing anything and outside of it being illegal should be able to do anything that they want and still be a representative of those two things, because you're not doing
illegal logo where they say, oh, you're degrading school. But none of your content is degrading.
Right.
None of it.
Right.
Well, no, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. And it's just, I mean, for somebody to feel like, I mean, are they feeling, let's go back to it. Are they jealous? Is this a jealous thing?
Is
like
the person bringing it to their attention jealous?
Is this person on social media and trying to grow a platform and like isn't having success?
No, I don't think so. I think no.
Then maybe the profession that they are seeking is not the profession for them.
Well, as a therapist, and this is, we're not doctors. We're not that, we're not.
No,
but, I think an issue is having clients have such access to me, which, but again, which I understand how, I can't befriend my clients. I can't interact with them on social media, but, and this is something that because I've talked to a lot of my friends on social media. I have a lawyer friend on social media who, when she got wind of this, she was like, hell no. And I was like, so I've talked to her, there's so much that goes on, again, behind the scenes that people don't see. I mean, and again, I don't go around talking about this because why would I? But how many messages I get from people who say like, because of you, I contacted a local therapist and I'm going to therapy because
I was just going to see that. You probably, speaking on all this and how positive and encouraging like your platform is, like that is a good base for people.
I agree.
It's a good base for people. One, if they're having a bad day, you're going to make their day better. Two, if they're seeking to maybe talk to somebody, a lot of people are embarrassed about therapy, like very embarrassed to talk about therapy and going to a therapist or a life coach or whatever the case may be. A life coach was the best thing that ever happened to me. Best thing that ever happened to me. And I feel like your platform is a good like gateway. I know gateways usually use like
it's a good bridge
gateway for people to be like, you know what? I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to go
so many messages.
I'm going to go get help, or just in general, I'm going to follow her because she makes me happy.
Yeah. So I've received so many messages. I went to a therapist and they judged. They were uptight. I felt like they judged me. Blah blah blah. I've seen you and how you are, and I want to give it another chance. I reached out to a therapist. Or just stuff like that. Just stuff like that. I get a lot of messages about how my platform helps people, have pulled them through tough times. I
love that.
I think too that that's at the end of the day why a lot of us have decided that like our platforms are much more than the few hate comments, the judgment from our family and friends. I think that as we grow and the tags and like the blind reacts I get where like you get tagged in those videos where it's like, hey, someone just needs you to know that like you're the reason that they've made it through this pandemic. Like, to hear that I am like what I do, a few minutes a day, post a few of these TikToks, and that people receive them and feel like connected to me and feel like I helped them through one of what is going to be one of the hardest time in many people's lives. Like we did that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I get hate. Yeah, I get judgment. Yes, my friends and family don't understand what I'm doing because they don't get to see those comments. They don't get to feel those.
So, again, it's all the behind the scenes stuff, which is, again, I don't thankfully get a lot of hate from family or friends or on social media. So for this to come, I'm not prepared for it. I haven't been prepared for it. So for it to come from, something like this, it's just kind of blows me away because of all the stuff I see behind the scenes, like, just stuff, just stuff, like how I spent that one out, when that nurse reached out to me and said that she, is at a cancer treatment facility and they all watch my videos, all the moms and wives pull up my videos during chemo and watch it and laugh. And so she wanted to surprise them. And when they turned on their TV, there I was live. And I'm like, hi guys, that was, and I spent 3 hours. I spent 3 hours talking to them and they, hearing their stories and stuff. And, so stuff like that is what keeps me going because, I am making a difference, and we all are. We're all making a difference, and we're doing great things. So it's
you guys, I forgot to tell you, I actually got a message from a local friend who watched our first episode, and she was like, thank you so much for putting it out there that like, we're so restricted because of where we come from. And like the judgment is so real. And she's like, you basically you outlined everything that I think all of us are feeling. And like, you put it into like a perspective for us. And like, we feel it with you and we get it and we understand you. But like, at the same time, like she was like, I'm so proud of you for breaking that stigma and like being something other than like what we're all meant to be. So like, people see it, people understand it, and they get it. Like they want to be different too. And they just need somebody to explain to them, like, you can be, like, it's fine.
Well, like if I was to say, okay, you know what, I tap out, I'm going to get off TikTok.
Yeah.
I would be pleasing one or two people, but I would be hurting 170,000.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I know not all of them probably love me. They're probably like just haters that watch. And, I don't know how to make a difference in all their lives, but essentially I'm having to but am I breaking the stigma of therapists being uptight and unapproachable? Yeah, I am. And I'm okay with that. And, some of the advice I'm getting is that
not a bad thing though.
Right. I mean, but it, and some agencies might not want to work with me because of my social media presence. And that's fine, because if an agency doesn't want to work with me because of my social media presence, I don't want to work with them.
They're not for you.
Right. I don't know. They're doing the weeding out for you. Like they're doing the narrowing down for you.
Fine. That's fine.
I don't get a lot of hate amongst friends and family. My family and friends have been pretty supportive. I mean, I think some of them may have found it silly when I first started.
Who's laughing now though? I'm just kidding.
But like when we posted about the YouTube, I got so many messages like, oh my God, I received messages from people from like high school that I haven't seen in a lot of years. They're like, oh my God, this is so great that you're doing this. I'm so happy for you.
I love it.
So I really love I've never really like, I've always been like kind of outside the box, but like, I feel like even like my dad is very traditional business. Like he's a very traditional, like 9-to-5 type of guy, that's how he grew up. That's how it was then. It's not like that anymore all the time, depending on your career. So like, I feel like lately he's been super supportive of like the branding and the fact that like there is money coming in from me being on social media and being real and
there's much more to it than what people think. So you're definitely.
I'm still not getting that
which I love, because usually, and this is not in all cases, but usually your closest friends and family are the last ones to congratulate or to contribute in a lot of things, depending on what you do with your life. Yeah. They want to like see what's going to happen before.
They want to see success before they like give you accolades for it.
Exactly. So I feel like I've gotten like quite a bit of support, more support than I thought I was going to get, to be honest. And it makes me really happy that I was on the live the other night, and a girl that I went to high school with, she came on and she goes, I've been like slowly watching you. Like, I'm super happy that you're doing this. You're so funny. You make me laugh every day. And I was like, oh my God, like I haven't seen you in forever.
And I'm not getting a ton of support from my fam. It's not that I'm not getting support, but I'm still getting I don't understand why you're doing this. You have a good full-time job. Focus on that. Don't lose like focus. It's more like they're like, don't go too far so that you're losing perspective of your daytime job, which yes, I understand that. And I understand that, they're like guarding me and like looking out for me. And I also don't think that they know this version of me yet. Like they're still getting acquainted with this version of me who I'm out of my shell. I want to be this person.
I was going to say, I feel like you're still the same person. Like you are, but you mean like the more public version of you.
Yeah. And I'm like being more transparent. Yes. I'm giving, do you know how many people have like messaged me on, even on my Instagram, like people I know like are like, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being transparent. Thank you for like speaking about your ADHD. Thank you because I might need to be evaluated. Because
Right.
I never,
Yes, you're bringing awareness.
Yeah. Awareness is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So, but then there's still my close family and friends who are like, what are you doing? Like, focus on your, like, get promoted, take the steps, blah, blah, blah. And, but like, I don't think they understand that, like, huh?
You can.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they understand that I'm navigating both just fine. I think those people are concerned for my well-being, like naturally, because they're just wanting to make sure that like I'm looking out for myself and not getting myself into a sticky situation. And obviously, like, I do appreciate those people for that.
Yeah.
Fact.
And
but it's
crazy.
like,
go ahead.
I just feel very confident in both avenues. And like, I don't think they knew that version of me. So like, I'm just still, they're meeting that person, I guess.
I think it is. Yeah, I can see that for sure. I also think it's, and I did a Q&A on my Instagram the other day. And I said it several times. Social media, specifically TikTok, is just its own world. If you're not in that world, you don't understand. I had so many people, my number one question that I get asked, one of the top ones, how do your family and friends feel about, they say like TikTok, that you're TikTok famous or deal that. My family and friends do not care. Like they don't either. I mean, like, they're not like, I have friends that think it's cool, but like, it's just weird.
We just stopped talking about it in general, right? You don't talk with your
like I do feel like I'm living two different worlds. I feel like if you're not in TikTok, you don't understand it. Someone asked, if going to Vegas, if I'm worried about the crowds of people wanting to meet me, which, it's like not going to be like this crazy thing, but it is a meet and greet with me and some other creators. And, I had family and friends message me after seeing that, and they were like, do you have people coming to Vegas to meet you? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's me and a bunch of creators that are going, but yeah. And they're like,
you're super cool. That's why.
No, they don't think so. They're like, why are they coming to meet you?
I know, but that's just everybody, like our family just sees this as us. So other people
see you guys, this goes back to like that first question we had in question, like our first episode, like, what is TikTok famous and how, like,
right. Well, they're like, I thought you were just going to Vegas for like a TikTok meetup. Like, I didn't know you were a part of the meetup. But I'm like, I don't go and say like, hey mom, just so you know, like I've got, they've reached out. I'm going to be a part of it. Cool. I'm just like, I'm going to Vegas.
Like if I told someone that I was if I told my parents I was going to Vegas because people wanted to meet me, they would tell me, no, you're not going. Like my parents are so like,
my mom's like, bring me back a keychain.
Well, but again, like old school Italian family, like my parents, like, let's just put it this way. Like with our, what's in the works, I was like, I really want to make this happen. Like, let's figure out, because they're still really concerned. I asked my parents about like plans that we have for travel to make sure like they're good with it, because like at the end of the day, they're the one like watching my kid. If I, with traveling, like COVID is still a huge thing. And like, I have to just, check in with not just my husband, but like the whole family.
Right.
It's out of respect. I mean, like if I did it, like it's no big.
You need to make sure everyone's okay with it. Yeah.
Right. I just know it's like a respect thing in my, like, and I know like not everyone's family is like really like, I'm like really still not into disappointing my parents at 33 years old. Like it's ridiculous. I just
don't talk about TikTok related to family and friends unless they ask me. Like I got, I'm in a, reached out for facial people. I got eyebrows and lips and Botox and that stuff. And because they found me on TikTok and they reached out and I made a contract with them because of TikTok, like, and I don't do it on purpose. I just want to burden people. But like my mom like called me and was like, you got your eyebrows and lips done? I just found out on your story. And we're super close, but I was like, yeah.
Right,
and she's
right.
And she's like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, well, and because like I said, I got the opportunities through TikTok. I just wasn't like,
I don't hear about my TikTok. I'm pretty sure that there's basically nobody in my life that knows that I have 80,000 followers on TikTok. Like I'm almost certain that like not even my husband knows that. Like, cause I just don't talk about it.
My dad asks, but I don't think he understands it. He just, I think in conversation, he's like, so how's it going? Like, have you
my parents asked me that
picked up any new brands? And I'm like, well, I took the pictures for clothes. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, when I have a contract with a clothing company, I have to like create the content. Like, they don't just say like this, they don't give you like a list of things that you need to do.
Right. And those videos where you're transitioning from outfit to outfit, 2 hours to do it all.
Yeah, like,
but see,
like
how your parents ask about it for you guys.
Transition videos, take all the photos, and then do the try-on hauls, which I still have to do, and like just all that. Like it's so time consuming, and then from there it makes you be like, oh well, I can do this, and what if we do like with the whole Botox and lip, and I'm like, oh my god, that sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Well, like for how you said that your parents ask you about it, like I actually specifically, I mean, and we'll get into this, I think eventually, because of my whole security breach, I actually specifically actively tried to make sure that my parents don't ask me about TikTok, because they really, like, they saw the way that I was affected by my security breach because of TikTok back in July. And or like they begged and pleaded for me to get off of TikTok. Like they were like, please, like for your like, and there was a time where like it really affected my mental health, and they were right. They were right to feel the way they were feeling. I just didn't give in. Thankfully,
I'm glad you didn't, because you're in an awesome place right now.
I am now. And like honestly, it took months of rebuilding everything. But they were right. They were right. They were justified in the way that they felt when they asked me to do what they asked me to do.
Right.
But because of that, like, that's why my personal life and my social media life are very disconnected, because I don't want them to have to ever feel the way they felt again, or like, you know, cause like, that's scary as a parent. Like I couldn't imagine if Gia came to me feeling all those feelings that I felt, you know? Right. So,
absolutely.
That's why I think like, I'm still kind of like, I'm hiding I feel like I'm hiding my social media life for instances like that. And so like maybe, and like sometimes I think like I'm not growing because I still have this belief in my head that like I don't deserve to grow. I don't deserve to have 100K. So like I like sometimes you manifest those feelings, you know, like
yeah.
So if I were a little more positive and believed in myself more, I'm sure I probably would be further along and got to where I wanted to go.
Say it almost seems like we're all living double lives. Not a bad way, just social media life and like real life, you know? Because like I said, that's the number one question, is like how my family and friends feel. And I don't ever answer it because I think I don't know how to answer it, because I finally did. And I was like, listen, you guys think I'm way cooler than I am in real life, because like, you know.
Well, in the end, the people that love us and our family, we are just us. And the people that see 15 to 60 second videos of us, they just know what's in the 15 or 60 second videos of us. And they don't know how, well, like I'm super lame in real life. Like I am like, I love like people and I love like having fun, but like in the end, I have my kids at home, like all that. Like they don't see what happens behind the scenes of these fun videos that we post. Like that is not 100% of our lives.
Right.
Well, yeah. Right. I was saying that people in real life, you know, and it is weird because I just don't think about this at all. And I don't think anyone would.
Well, you know, you don't come home from work and be like, oh my God, at this time this happened, and then this time this happened. No, if they ask you how your day was at work, you go, it was great. I had a couple meetings, like whatever.
Yeah, I had a classmate say that they a friend sent them a funny video on TikTok, and it was me. And, you know, they didn't know it was me because it was their friend. And she was like, oh my gosh, I know her. Well, the friend called and was like, how do you know her? And she was like, oh, she's in my class. Like, she's one of my partners in school. And their friend was like, oh my God, what's she like? Is she making grades? Is she smart? Is she outgoing in real life? Is she nice? Is her husband, like, well, and I was like, you don't think about those things. You don't think about those things. And I was like, and so it's just weird, and so she was like, I told her that what you see on TikTok is pretty much what you get, and that you're outgoing and funny. I mean, but like, do I make good grades? Like, what? Why would somebody ask that? Like, and I know she was just being silly and probably wanted to know about me, but you just don't think about those things, like that. Like, I know if it's like a family member.
For the record, Darcy does make good grades, guys. She makes great grades.
Yeah. I mean, I try. 4.0.
No, I've had people send me like, I love it because like there are a few people who are on TikTok, and like I'll have people send me like when my Home Alone audio blew up, people were like sending me like text messages of TikTok, and I'm like, yes, I know. Yes,
I love it. You're like, that's me. That's me.
No, because I was in a really bad headspace at that time, and I was like, yeah, except for TikTok's not giving me any views. I got 6,000 views on that stupid TikTok for 900 audios.
I had somebody send me a TikTok of my voice with somebody else, and they're like,
so weird.
This girl sounds a lot like you. And I'm like, oh, it is me. It's me.
Yeah.
That's my voice.
And anytime I show up on an FYP or like my ads that I do, if they show up, I'll have family and friends screenshot it and send it to me. So, the sport's there. It's just weird. I don't, know, like, so.
All right, you guys. I feel like we've been chit-chatting for a while now. You guys want to wrap this up with our hot topic?
Yeah, I'll get my timer out. 2-minute hot topic.
All right. Do you want to explain what our hot topic is?
I think so. Isn't it just, it's in kind of connection with our conversation today. Are we going to say businesses, our work, employers? How do we want to word it?
Yeah. Should they have a say in how you run your platforms, like who you are? Should you, whoever you're working with, like say brands or your employer, should they have a say in how you want to run your platform or who you are on your platform?
Lindsay, how about you start? You have the longest. I mean, you have the full-time job where you
Okay, so yeah, I leave. I mean, so this actually, I had to go through this in real life, and I understand. I work for a big bank. It's a global bank. It has a global presence. I had to submit a disclosure to my outside activity team, and they had to go through and ask me, will you be talking about our bank? Will you be representing our bank? Who is your content geared towards? And are you trying to influence people to come to us? And I had to say, no, like my it's content for moms, like not talking about the bank will not have any influence on the bank. Like I'm very segregated. And then
logo.
So yeah, I agree. Like, yes, they to a certain point should be able to, but like when it gets to like what Darcy was saying, like if I can't have a cocktail on screen, like then I'm gonna have some issues because I'm legal, I'm an adult, and I'm able to do how I want to be as long as it's not detrimental to my what I do for work or illegal.
I agree. I feel like they do have a say. I feel like your employers can have a say in your social media because a lot of companies do have a social media clause or a social media rule or whatever that you have to sign. I think that if you're going to be if you're going to be on there being nasty, representing them in a bad light, being nasty drunk while holding a cocktail, maybe say something. But if you come to a nice, clean, positive, I don't think you get to nitpick. I don't think people get to. I don't think your employees should be able to. Your employer should come to your TikTok, your social media, and twist things and try to make things what they're not.
No, I completely agree. I feel like if you're misrepresenting your company and using their name and like talking about where you work and maybe talking about employees or your boss or whatever the case may be, I feel like that is, that there they can
or
say
getting drunk or saying inappropriate word. I mean,
100%. But as far as brands go, I mean, the brands reached out to us because of the way that we are on their social media. So I feel like if we just continue that good and positive content, then they can definitely make a small voice opinion.
All right.
Than that,
I'm with you on that.
I'm sorry, but the timer went off.
I love it. I agree. I think we're all on the same page.
Guys, everybody have a great night. Enjoy a cocktail, and we'll see you next week.